Hello everybody, my name is Jose Sabedra. Welcome back to another episode of The Break Room. Right now I'm here with Sophie Baxter and she's going to be helping us with this autism awareness piece. Ready to go inside?
Yes, I am.
All right then, let's go. Hello everybody and welcome to The Break Room Season 4. My name is Jose Sabedra and I'll be your host for today's episode. Today I'm excited to again be joined by Joe Pisano from Pisano Artistry, a talented artist using the creativity to shine a light on autism awareness through a unique project, a handcrafted puzzle piece that has a very deep meaning behind it. And today I'm also going to be joined by Sophie Baxter, who is a former TEDx speaker, and she is amazing. She shared about autism awareness before, and I felt like she would be perfect for this episode as well. So thanks for being here, Joe.
Well, thank you for inviting.
Thank you for being here, Sophie.
Thank you for inviting me as well.
Let's dive right into it. So are you guys both ready?
Let's go.
All right then, let's dive right in. Question 1, Joe.
Yes.
What inspired you to create an autism awareness puzzle piece as a medium for this project?
Well, autism in itself is a very near and dear to my heart. My daughter is on the spectrum, and I have a billion projects in my head, and my head is always constantly going. And one of the pieces that I wanted to do was an autism piece for awareness. So I've had it on the back burner, and I just said, I need to do this. So I consulted with my daughter, Katerina, and I literally kind of Googled images and I sent it to her and I said, Katerina, pick the best image, pick the one that you want to use. So she picked the one that we're creating now, and then I designated her as the project manager, and she was very excited to be a part of this.
That's wonderful. And to have someone of your own on the spectrum and to make a piece like this and to have her be the project manager, it's very wholesome. And I'm glad that you're doing this. I personally feel that this is going to be a great piece, especially since April is Autism Awareness Month.
Yes, it is.
So this is perfect. So I'm very glad you're making this. Question 2. Here you go.
As someone who has experienced autism closely, I believe there's a lot of stigma when it comes to this topic. The puzzle piece has been both embraced and criticized within the autism community. How did that influence your design or your approach?
That's an amazingly intelligent question. And I'll tell you why. Because we go through our life with things that we're introduced to. And it's accepted or it's not. Things that are accepted years ago literally become something that offends people. Baseball teams, football teams that I grew up now have a new team name because it was offended someone. The autism logo, I think it's a beautiful logo. And that's what I grew up understanding, my daughter same. And yet, in this here and now, there's a shift to, okay, we got to make it a little bit more politically correct. We got to be more inclusive. The idea for this piece is that there is going to always be criticism, always. And you set that aside, you look at the positives, and you just hope that other people not just embrace it, but they understand a little bit more, become more accepting. Again, there could have been a completely different design that was brought up, in the autism community, but the puzzle piece is the one that, has been around, and I embraced it, and I just have a little different way of expressing it through this art piece.
For question 3, can you walk us through the visual elements or materials that you use that we can see here, and what do they represent?
Okay, very good. So again, I told you I got a billion ideas in my head all the time, and so in creating this piece, we meaning Katerina and I, locked down an image. It was a puzzle piece cutout, just a single puzzle piece, but in the background is several puzzle pieces connected with the autism colors. So when I'm looking at this logo and this image, I'm thinking, how can we be more including of people participating in it? Well, for me, it was simple. Just take each puzzle piece, and there's actually 30 here. There's 6 different colors. And so each puzzle tray would contain puzzle pieces that belong to that tray. So a green puzzle tray has literally puzzle pieces that are green if you look at the puzzle. Now, one of the suggestions through many of people after talking about this particular image, that, well, why don't you just take the puzzle and paint them according to the color that you need? Easy, right? And make it real quick too. But then I would say, that's what we do as a society. We literally will take an individual and conform them to exactly what we want and then place them in our structure. Autism, as you know, is not like that. We have to be accepting of exactly what they are and what they bring to this art piece. So every puzzle piece is different. There will not be any puzzle piece that are the same, but they will all belong in their, not only their respective places, but some of the green puzzle pieces have a little bit of orange in it, have a little bit of red in it, have a little blue. So it's all interconnected within connecting puzzle pieces. One other thing that I'll bring to your attention is, so we have the cutout, and then I actually used a different puzzle pattern. The puzzle pattern itself, and there's 30 puzzle pieces. It's all just outlined with one. One puzzle was actually, or puzzle piece was actually painted red. It's the number 22. So 22 is right here. And the reason that that's significant is more for me than and my veterans. So 22 being red stands for remember everyone deployed. Brings in our military. And I was just telling Sophia earlier before the podcast, I actually Googled autism behaviors. I am not a subject matter expert. I would never claim to be. I'm still learning. And one of the things was I literally Googled autism behaviors and I get a nice list. Oh yeah, I recognize most of them. And then there's a couple that I said, oh, okay, that's a new one. Well, I decided to take the word autism out of that and put combat PTS behaviors. And it's almost identical. And again, this is completely unofficial. This is just my opinion, my observation, but it's amazing that this behavior, either born with or some experience happened along the way, whether it be in combat or car accident or something traumatic, and now you have these behaviors. I don't like bright lights. I'm always wearing my sunglasses with the exception of right now. I don't like loud noises. I don't like crowds unless I'm in a setting where I'm doing a presentation. I don't like people touching me because there's a good touch and a bad touch. So these things, I'm not autistic as far as I know, but I share behaviors. And I know there's a lot of people out here that share behaviors. And my thing is, don't be so quick to judge, like we were talking about. Get to know the person. And then you might find out that there's more to them. And they're just as beautiful as everyone else. So that's where this all kind of came about.
And that's a really beautiful way of thinking about it. And the way that you put all of that, thoughtfulness and mindfulness, kindness, I could go on, into these, putting little parts that represent things that nobody would usually get. It's amazing because, you could really tell and you could really see, the amount of processing and managing and just overall, again, mindfulness that you put into this. Just seeing and showing all of the thought that you put into us by talking about, oh, like these pieces represent this, the red piece represents the number 22, and some red has some yellow, which means that nobody is always the same, and nobody is always put into like a category that is made just for them.
Right.
It's amazing to just think about it that way, and it's amazing how you recognize all of these aspects of the not only the autistic community, but for combat PTS and everything else, and you decide to connect community with the spectrum.
Correct. The idea for this piece is that I wanted to start with the autism community on the spectrum, special needs, to be able to put puzzle pieces. So I have 6 trays with different colors in them, and they come in, they put the glue on, and they'll place them in there. At one point, I will still need help filling up the trays, so I'm going to invite the community. So the idea for that is that we bring the autism community and the regular community, intertwine them so that they understand each other, understand what it takes to be around spectrum. Some, very embracing. My daughter is very embracing. Others can be really standoffish, and it takes maybe a while or never where they feel comfortable enough, to be in your space. I had a couple of individuals come here, and one very excited and just eager to be a part of it. But at the end, she enjoyed the experience so much, she'd give me a hug. And then later told his mom that this place was a very nice place to be. So my vision for it is to get everyone involved, both on the spectrum and the community, so that we're not pointing fingers and just saying, oh, they're different. No, they're just like us. They have something. So, yeah.
Really amazing, Joe. And just bridging the connection between the community and the spectrum, and getting individuals to put puzzle pieces in here. It's inspiring, and it's amazing. And as for you, Sophie, do you want to add any more insight to this? Maybe with some individual experiences.
I completely understand what you're saying. The whole, you have to put a kid, even an adult, into one specific category when realistically it's a spectrum, meaning everyone is different, everyone's unique, which is good, but people don't see it as good. Right now, currently in school, we're having issues with bullying again with kids with special needs. They're calling them slurs. They're calling them mean names. You see popular kids going up to them, pretending like they want to be friends with them, when in reality, as someone who has 2 brothers with autism, I see the pretend.
Yes.
I can see through it. I don't need to go on social media saying, oh, look at my little friend, look at so-and-so, when I can do that by myself, experiencing, helping someone who has special needs learn how to be with someone that doesn't have special needs, yet I also gain experience because I'm with someone with special needs.
Right. That's a great point. And part of, if there's a problem, is a lot of times with the autism individual, in terms of social connections and cues, is that it's amplified. So that our drama may seem just regular, but for someone on the spectrum, same level of drama may be elevated in their eyes. And that's part of where we come in and guide them and say, okay, things are going to be okay. This is how you handle it. And yes, unfortunately, bullying is going to be around, whether it be in school, workplace, just out in the, everyday world. But for your brothers, my daughter, and anyone else in the spectrum, the most important thing is that they have a family that they can go to. Because sometimes, and I'm sure you're aware of this, even the family will push them out and just make them feel like they're different. So we do have an obligation, a responsibility as good stewards to our families that we take care of them, so that they can take care of themselves. That being said, this creation, this autism piece, is for you as well. My son has been with his sister his whole life and shares the same challenges in both how to react to the behaviors, how to react to people behaving, badly towards their siblings, and having their own frustrations. And I want this part to also be able to recognize the family members that are struggling with coping, with dealing, and the siblings that often don't have a spotlight on them. It's usually taking care of the special needs, and then they get kind of pushed aside, and they have their own challenges. And unfortunately, if we don't address them or give them some light, there's going to be further kind of repercussions later on in life. Resentment is a big one. So I'm just letting whoever sees this that it's all encompassing. It's not for the spectrum individuals, but for the families, the siblings especially, that have to kind of be on the back burner while their sibling is being the one on the spotlight for whatever reason, just to calm them down, or just knowing that they need a little extra attention. But unfortunately, it needs to be equally distributed.
I feel like the insight that both of you put into this is amazing. I feel like connecting all of this with different experiences is also really great. And I'm very glad that you, Sophie, mentioned bullying, because that is a very prominent aspect. I'm very passionate about being against bullying. And again, sometimes we all forget to bring into account people with special needs who get bullied, people with special needs who have fake friends who really just want to use them rather than actually be their friend. So again, really great insight that you put into this, and I'm really glad that you're doing this, Joe, because it really just gives people, with people who are on the spectrum, a place, to go. And I'm really glad that those people who came here felt safe.
Oh, absolutely. That's probably the highlight of this whole process, is the fact that when they come in, they light up, and they do have a place where they feel comfortable. And that's hard. I mean, and I'll shift it to the military. I have veterans that don't want to be around certain spaces, but they come here and they feel comfortable enough to have conversations that they wouldn't otherwise have. I have, a beautiful young girl who was putting the puzzle pieces in, and she actually stuck or was weaving around the cover. So the cover is a cutout of the puzzle piece, and just gave me the idea. So I'm going to have people actually standing in the puzzle cutout and take a picture of them, and just celebrate that they're beautiful. Autism is beautiful, and so if we can celebrate it that way, I think it will hopefully influence the ones that need to know a little bit more about the spectrum and see the beauty in it.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that response. Let's move on to question 4. That is you, Sophie.
What do you hope this artwork will spark in others?
Oh, good question. As people see it, hopefully they'll say, oh, he needs more puzzles. That's just one. But the big takeaway when people see this from a distance, because when they see it from a distance, they're not going to see the individual puzzle pieces. They'll just think it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of art. As they get closer, as like all my other pieces, like, oh, wait a minute. They're made of little puzzle pieces. Oh, wait a minute. They're all different within the puzzle tray. That's when you open up the dialogue. That's when you educate. And that's when you tell them some of the stories. And then that connection in itself hopefully will allow people to accept, that individuals on the spectrum, have a beautiful spirit about them. And, it's so easy, anybody. I can pick you and you and just think of all the negative stuff about you, right? That's easy to do. but it takes a real human being with compassion and a good spirit and good energy to look all past through that and just see what a person can offer in this garden of, colorful pieces. It's just, yeah. So I just hope that people embrace it, and if they see it as an autism awareness piece, that they become more aware and more accepting.
Before we switch on to the final question, Sophie, I do have a question for you.
Mhm.
When we first entered in here and you saw this piece, what did that spark in you? And what did you, I guess, see or interpret when you first saw the piece?
Well, first I saw the many puzzle pieces, and then I saw the individual ones. Like you said, you see from afar, you don't think much of it, you just think how pretty it is. But once you get closer to it and you realize every single puzzle piece is different, it's unique, and different shapes, different sizes. I love the idea that it does show everyone is different. Everyone isn't the same on the spectrum, even out of the spectrum.
Right.
Like, we all need to be our own person, because without being someone who isn't just a copy paste of someone else, you don't have uniqueness or creativity. And we need that, especially to have inclusivity.
Absolutely. And, when your podcast goes out and you have individuals that go, hey, Jose, this is a pretty cool thing, I do hope that, people will reach out and say, you know what, I want to put a puzzle piece in. I want to be a part of this. Wherever this lands, whether it be if the Autism Society, says, hey, this is a cool piece, we want to feature it, whether at an event or their own building, or if other organization, like, this is a pretty cool piece, and it gets to be shown. And again, just spreading kind of the acceptance of autism, and hopefully, literally, allowing people to see how beautiful they are.
Before we end this wonderful episode off, I do want to ask you one final question.
Sure.
Which is, what would you say, or what advice would you give? And I want to hear something from you too. What advice or what would be something that you would say to other artists or creatives who want to create a piece such as this, and I guess promote autism awareness in a respectful, impactful way? What would you say to them? What advice would you give? And
okay, Sophia, go ahead. What would you say?
I would put something out there that shows everyone is different. Not everyone is the same, and how we all just need to love each other. Like, we can't just be hating on everyone, because then we create more hate, less love.
Correct.
We need to put our differences aside and just understand that everyone goes through something. In life, you just go through challenges and you have to keep going. You can't just keep putting yourself in that challenge and saying, I hate everyone because I have this, you don't have that.
Right.
Instead, we should say, oh, you're going through something, I'm going through something, I'll help you, you help me. And then we just grow as people, understanding differences and how to overcome obstacles in general.
That's well said. Well said.
Very well said.
Okay. So there's a couple artists that I'll address. Individuals on the spectrum are extremely artistic. Extremely. The gentleman who put in some puzzle pieces earlier this week is an artist, and I invited him to bring a couple of his art pieces to showcase on my wall outside. One, I would encourage anyone on the spectrum to create art. My daughter does some amazing abstract artwork. Amazing. I could never do that. I just don't have, I'm very meticulous in my artwork, so I can't just be free and just let my creative mind flow. She can, and her work is beautiful. I have another friend, or her friend, Miguel, amazing artist. So growing up watching him do his artwork, he'd always like, "Hey, Mr. Joe, I got a new art piece for you," and it's some beautiful stuff. Style is the highlight of any artist, whether on the spectrum or not. So, artists on the spectrum, continue the artwork and find an audience for it. Okay, an artist not on the spectrum, your everyday artist, it doesn't have to be autism. It can be something that you feel passionate about, that you want to move in a positive direction, express something that may not be expressible in words, maybe in more of a visual medium. So whatever passion that you have embraced throughout your life and you want to share it, by all means. And don't worry about the criticism, don't worry about the stigmas, because they're always going to be there.
I appreciate all of the stuff, and I guess all of the thoughtfulness that you put into this. It's almost overwhelming. It's amazing how much you put into this, and I feel like that advice would go really well with any artist who would want to maybe make a piece such as this. And again, that's right, it doesn't have to be about autism. It can just be about something that you're passionate about, which I feel fits really well with this.
Absolutely, yes.
Anyway,
it's puzzling sometimes, but yes.
It is puzzling. Thank you so much, Joe, for joining us and giving us your journey on this piece so far. And I really look forward to seeing where this is displayed.
Yeah.
And hopefully, this podcast reaches all of you guys, and you guys are able to, join in on this project. Hopefully, whether you live near or far, help with this project and, get some puzzle pieces in here.
Yeah.
And what was your goal, Joe, again, about this piece?
Oh, well, the goal is to, fill it up, to its level. Yeah, I'll need more puzzle pieces and more people to come in here and participate. This is a living piece, meaning you see the way it is now. You see this in a week from now, it'll grow. It'll grow in terms of, more puzzle pieces, more participants. Just like a lot of my art pieces, this is not a one and done. It's not complete per se. So I'm looking forward to it continually growing. So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to it too.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Is there any way that people who may not live, of course, that close to here, at Liberty Station, do you feel like there would be a way that some people could help, from afar?
Absolutely. So one of the ideas, these are all removable, and part of my process will be at one point to take these apart and mail them out to the different cities, states. So I have this as a nationwide project, and I do have a handful of individuals in different city states that I'll be mailing out the trays, and they'll go to their autism community and help build it, bring it back, and then it's not just a San Diego piece. I have puzzle pieces that have been sent to me from all over the nation. So again, this is not just, and I'm actually working on it internationally. I have a couple international contacts that either I send them a puzzle tray, let them get with their community and fill it in, or they send me puzzle pieces. So if you see a puzzle piece that has different writings, different language on it, that might be from one of my international contacts.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So anyone can help with this.
Anyone. Yeah.
And whether they live near or far, and as you said, nationwide, possibly even international.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. And I'm really glad that you're doing this. This really helps, I guess, not only bring the community together as a whole, but help people who are on the spectrum feel appreciated.
Absolutely.
And have them know that there are people out there who do feel genuinely, about them, who appreciate them, who embrace and accept them for who they are.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to hopefully one day, again, it'll be a point when we don't have to do this. We don't have to have an awareness, an acceptance for autism. It's just going to be in our DNA, just like everything else. Again, kind of like what you're saying, we have to put everyone in a category. We have to make sure they're either confined to that stigma or label, but hopefully one day there won't be any labels. You see them as a human being, just a different flower.
And that's a beautiful interpretation of it.
One more thing. So you got people that are picking or bullying. I'll invite them here, help them create something, and give them something to create. Turn their outlook around.
Of course. And is there anything else that you want to add, other than just?
I just love seeing you again, and now I get to meet you, and this is great. You're welcome to come to the studio anytime. Bring your brothers. I'm hoping that you will, so that they can be a part of this. Yeah, they're welcome. I have many projects that can use people to help create. So yeah.
Well then, thank you, Sophie. Thank you, Joe, to the both of you for sharing your insight, sharing your heart, sharing your process behind everything. Not only this piece, but of course behind your personal experiences. Because I feel like from the both of you, this really allows, again, our audience to think more about this, to accept people who are on the spectrum more, and of course, like you said, to just have everyone love each other in general and not to hate on each other in general.
Yeah.
You know, and
well said.
To that I say, well said. So, is there anything else you two would like to add before we close off this episode?
I'm good. Thank you. No, thank you again.
All right then. Well then, back to you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of The Break Room. I really hope you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as I did, listening to both of these amazing people, enjoying it as much as I did, and we'll talk to you on the next episode. All right then. Thank you all, and as always, have a very great day, stay hydrated, and goodbye.